A long time ago I made a video called The Romance in Robocop. Not only did I go in putting too much focus on the wrong thing, I also made that video when I was more inexperienced, so that video is not watchable. What happened was I watched the 2014 version when I was young, and I remembered the love story between Robocop and his wife being deeper than it actually was, and I had heard that the original was better, so I went in expecting a better love story than the 2014 version, which I thought was better than it actually was, but then I found out that the wife is barely in the original version. I just didn't have the topic I was hoping for. But I still loved Robocop, and I feel like that video was not doing Robocop justice, so here I am to make a better video about Robocop.
You give us 3 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
That's what she said.
And the president's first press conference from the Star Wars orbiting peace platform got off to a shaky start when power failed.
This wouldn't have happened on the Warhammer 40k peace platform. Weird thing is, Star Wars was good back then. I don't know how this disaster happened. I had some doubts about the video game Robocop Rogue City. I watched some gameplay footage after playing Immortals of Avium, so I was spoiled by all the particle effects. Robocop Rogue City ended up being a lot better than I thought it was, and they put so much effort into making it feel like you're in the world of Robocop. However, they made one mistake in Robocop Rogue City. You can go into the locker room, but everybody's fully clothed in there. Such a betrayal of source material. Immersion broken.
Funeral's tomorrow. Any donations for the family may be given to Cecil as usual.
But sir, we have no time or money left for all these funerals and donations. At this point, I don't even know why you bother making those name tags.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the future of law enforcement.
But how do you fit that in a police car? It's too slow to catch a fleeing car. Well, I guess that won't be a problem if you can just shoot the fleeing car into oblivion.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
20 seconds, And then he shot everybody in 12 seconds, leaving 8 seconds to spare.
You now have 15 seconds to comply.
That's brilliant! You can get him to shoot all the criminals, and then it can pretend that it was just a glitch and didn't recognize that, put down the weapon? That's brilliant. I mean, what are they gonna do? Call the robot racist? Oh wait, they totally do that.
I'm very disappointed.
But it took out the bad guy just like you wanted.
Let's see those hands.
Mind if I zip this up?
You're supposed to cuff him first and then look down there. You didn't even give him 20 seconds. He's even better than Ed 209.
Louis, I got a situation here, girl.
Pro tips, cuff him first, then look down at the situation.
Your ass is mine.
I'll have you know I'm a married man. He's relatively calm for such a wound. I can see why they pick him to be Robocop. I know he's got a bulletproof vest on, but still, that's a ton of endurance. Such stupid villains. They pumped him full of 100 shells and they shot him in the brain, but they didn't make sure he was dead. Their negligence will be their undoing. They must be really desperate not to lose any more cops if they're still trying this hard.
I really have to tell you
What's our blood pressure?
I'll talk more about it later, but I like how they show you that one part of the interaction with his wife where she's just saying, I want to tell you something, as if she's angry. As if they're selling this idea that his life wasn't that great, so it's nothing but an improvement when he turns into Robocop. But we'll talk more about that later.
Happy New Year.
I would say he can't do that, he's a married man, but they said he's legally dead, so is he legally not married anymore? I mean, they say till death do you part, and he kind of is dead-ish.
I am what you call a repeat offender. I repeat, I will offend again. I get my orders from a higher source.
Shut up, asshole.
If this were to happen in modern day, they'd probably say, oh, look, a cosplayer, there must have been a fight at a convention.
This processor dispenses a rudimentary paste that sustains these organics.
Tastes like baby food.
How do you know what baby food tastes like? Maybe he has a kid and he does that thing where you give the baby a mouthful and you take a mouthful and you give the baby a mouthful.
What are your prime directives?
Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law.
No, 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 no. Your prime directives are shoot a ton of bad guys, say some cool one-liners, and sell a ton of merchandise. Those are your prime directives. If it's supposed to be a round burst gun, then it's very inconsistent about how many bullets it bursts each time he fires. But it's probably just a machine gun, so he's just holding it down for different amounts of time. However, I don't know how he has so many bullets in that thing. You see, Robocop is much better than Ed 209 because he can fit inside a police car.
We don't have a safe. Shit!
They must really be counting on people to not drink a lot. Well, that is the light stuff, so they might just be counting on people to be fat. Request denied. I'm a married man. This part kind of reminds me of the first Superman movie or the Spider-Man films, where the movie just has some fun going around stopping some crimes for a while. You don't really see that much in modern superhero movies. Normally, even I would call that excessive, but under the circumstances, we'll call it justified.
Madam, you have suffered an emotional shock. I will notify a crisis center.
Such a good role model. Can you imagine if he said something like, "You don't move unless I say, you don't make a sound unless I say, do you understand?"
Do you understand?
I think I heard someone say, "Are you invincible?" The answer would be, as long as no one aims for the lower half of my face, I'm invincible, yes. You know you had a very easy opportunity to take him alive and you purposefully killed him, destroying Window in the process, right? My man! My man! He could have took him alive like a coward, but he killed him anyway. Such goodness. Such goodness.
Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble.
You forgot to add, or you're next. Do you think I won't shoot kids? That's not until Robocop 2.
We're projecting the end of crime in Old Detroit within 40 days.
So if you have any crimes to commit them within the next 40 days.
Murphy, it's you.
I have to go. Somewhere there is a crime happening.
That's how I'm gonna escape every awkward conversation from now on. So, Mr. Knight, who are you voting for? I must go somewhere there's a crime happening.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I've only met one person that's that cool.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
You're dead! We killed you!
You should have went for the head. We did go for the head. Wait, did he? His face looks a little puffy there because he probably had fire protection where he's supposed to not have any metal.
Who are you?
His perp is broken and need to find another one. I love how that device is compatible with the computer even though we don't see anything else that looks like it. They show you so little of his wife and kid in this movie, but the film kind of uses that to its advantage because the way it shows things and doesn't show things, it gets the audience into a position where they know as much about his family as he does. He's lost so much of his memory and he wants to know more of it, and that's the same position that the audience is in. So the footage we saw earlier is just some of the footage that he sees here, so there's nothing that we know about his family that he doesn't know from this.
I really have to tell you something. I love you.
And I really love how they handled this information. Earlier in the film, it was trying to get you excited about him becoming Robocop, so it had that little bit where it looks like she's angry with him to make you think that it's fine for him to leave his old life behind because it wasn't that great to begin with. But at this point of the film, they're revealing how tragic it is. When they show you the rest of that memory, you know that actually his life was great before he became Robocop and he's lost it all. The 2014 version had a very different approach where he still remembers everything and you see more of the wife and kid, and the wife is trying to keep the relationship going even with him being a cyborg. And that should have worked better than it ultimately did. In the 2014 version, the interactions that Murphy had with his wife were very generic and didn't have much chemistry to them. So even though they set things up that really should have worked story-wise, you don't really feel it very much. If they had given the wife more personality and had more comedy between her and Murphy, I think the 2014 version would have been a lot better.
I'd love to be with intelligent women.
They're not smart, they're doing drugs. Smart people don't do drugs. Granted, she can do something kind of clever, I guess. I'll give her that.
Bitches leave.
But they're witnesses. You just gotta let them go. That was a powerful grenade. I guess in this science fiction future, they've perfected grenade technology. A lot of people rightfully criticized the 2014 version for being PG-13. The blood squigs in this make such a difference between this and that, because in the 2014 version, Robocop is not really less ruthless with criminals. It's just that the effects make it look so toned down. There's a part of the 2014 version where a guy is about to throw a grenade at him, so Robocop shoots the guy non-fatally and lets him watch the grenades as it's about to blow him up, and yet without the blood squigs it feels like such a step down from the original. He throws him through 3 separate windows. I love this guy.
Book him. He's a cop killer.
Yes, and he had a very, very long list of offenses on his record. I wonder if they considered William Shatner for this role. Where's your loyalty? You heard that Robocop was making trouble at OCP, and you didn't assume that OCP was doing something bad to justify Robocop giving them trouble?
Hey, wait a second!
Yes, thank you.
Oh, shit! You're maniacs!
They do have some smart people, apparently. The others haven't known him as long. Conversations at the water cooler are gonna be a little bit awkward after this. This town has a huge problem with this police force. None of them can aim well enough to hit the face.
You may not like what you're going to see.
What are you talking about? The practical effects people in the makeup department did a great job.
Murphy had a wife and son. I can feel them, but I can't remember them.
And the problem with the 2014 version was you could remember them, but you couldn't feel them. This is what happens when you defund the police.
Well, hey, can I have you both? Sure! I'd buy that for $1.
I just realized the significance of this show or movie that these criminals are always watching. These criminals think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it, and also expect women to be all over them for it. And they're watching this guy who's presumably rich, and he's getting all these women, and he's completely content, and yet they don't have that same contentment for their crimes. In fact, there's people who are ridiculously rich that are still trying to get more because they're not happy with what they have. They keep thinking that if they get rich and powerful enough, they'll eventually be as happy as that guy is, but they never do. And the moral of the story is crime doesn't actually buy you happiness.
Hey! First they let me out of jail for free, then what do I find in the prison parking lot?
He was in prison and they let him out to do more crimes. And the moral of the story is the police should not take prisoners. At that time I was kidding. That was kind of a jerk move.
My targeting system is a little messed up.
I would not aim for someone if they woke me up like that.
Looking for me?
I almost called him out for giving his position away before he shot at them, but then I remembered the rules of engagement. They told me I'd be happy and content with tons of women falling all over me. Buy this for $1.
Shit! I give up.
I'm not arresting you anymore.
Hooray, he has learned to do the right thing. They do such a good job of still having stakes, even with him being as durable as he is, without sacrificing the power fantasy. Well done, well done.
You have 20 seconds to move your hand.
20 seconds, That's what happens when you give people 20 seconds.
My program will not allow me to act against an officer of this company.
I cannot act against an executive of this company. But let me show you some evidence that will act against an executive of this company.
I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake.
Wait a second, he was calling out the guy in the glasses for saying stuff in front of Robocop when he's recording everything, but he did the exact same thing.
He's a cyborg, you idiot. He recorded every word you said. I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Now it's time to erase that mistake. You're fired!
Thank you.
I love that workaround. I don't know if he's psychopathic or if he's just seen enough to be desensitized.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
For now, I'm introducing myself as Murphy, but in the next movie, I'll just say Robocop. Such a good film. I did not watch Robocop when I was a kid, but there's no nostalgia required to enjoy this. Not only does it hold up, it embarrasses a lot of the modern action films out there these days. The level of brutality that Robocop puts these criminals through, under the premise of them deserving it, brings me so much joy. The practical effects in this film are stuff that they just don't do anymore, and they really should. Let me know if you want me to make videos about the other Robocop films. I assure you that I am not someone who always ironcladly insists that the original is always the best in every franchise. That being said, the original Robocop is the best in this case. But Robocop 2 wasn't bad. If you're a fan of Robocop, I would recommend seeing Robocop 2 at least once. I haven't seen Robocop 3, though. I heard it was the worst of the bunch. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and not give the perp 20 seconds.